So hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here, PhotographyPX.com. In today's video, I want to talk about whether you should buy third-party camera batteries or not. Note you can find timestamps in the description down below. You can also scrub through the video to skip to a more relevant section if you'd like. But with that said, let's get started. There's nothing worse than turning on your camera only to realize it's dead. And even the most expensive cameras are useless without a charged battery. Unfortunately, camera manufacturers use that fact to their advantage and charge outrageous prices for their batteries. Take Nikon's EL18C, which is currently a whopping $179. No, thank you. Those kind of prices make many of us question things and inevitably ask whether OEM batteries are worth it, since they're arguably the highest profit margin accessory in the camera industry. Thankfully, there's another player in town, the off-camera third-party battery. And today, many long-term secondary manufacturers create batteries for the top cameras. So we have plenty of options on this front too. Still, are third-party batteries safe to use, and are they any good? Well, let's talk about them in detail. So by the end of this video, you'll have some better ideas on whether they're actually worth the money. So first and foremost, what exactly is a third-party battery? Well, every camera manufacturer in our industry has a line of batteries specifically designed to work with their cameras, which they manufacture personally or they license to a specialized facility. For this reason, we consider batteries from brands like Nikon, Canon, Sony, and so on to be from the original equipment manufacturer, also known as OEM, and first party. And the battery that originally comes with your camera is the official battery and the one your camera manufacturer suggests. On the other hand, third-party batteries are designed by companies outside of the original camera manufacturer, and that's why we call them off-brand, or sometimes referred to as aftermarket, since they're not from the actual companies involved in creating the original battery. On screen right now, I'll show you a brief list of the most common battery formats from today's major manufacturers. This list doesn't include every camera manufacturer out there. That would be a bit too long to include, but the general principle here is the same across everyone in our industry. And even though the names they use for batteries are not particularly catchy, they're at least consistent, and each manufacturer uses a set of specific numbers and letters to represent the battery generation and the particular camera format. That said, it's important I stress that not all batteries are backward compatible with older cameras in that same series, so please double check the compatibility to make sure a third-party battery you're considering supports your specific camera. Otherwise, you'll risk purchasing a battery that could lack enough power to operate the camera, or worse, it just doesn't fit altogether. But quick commercial break. Did you know PhotographyPX launched a sister company called PXPresets.com? Well, if you didn't, PXPresets.com is going to be your next one-stop shop for Adobe Lightroom desktop and mobile presets. On PX Presets, you can find a large selection of presets to shortcut the process of getting high quality images and consistent branding across your imagery. We have a large selection of styles that are well suited for food, products, portraiture, fashion, beauty, and much more. We're also running a special right now for our mega collection. So if you want to upgrade your entire workflow in one fell swoop, now's a great opportunity. So if you're in the market for some high quality Lightroom presets to shortcut your workflow, feel free to check out pxpresets.com. With that said, back to the video. That said, what are the advantages of using third-party batteries? Lower prices. The main advantage of third-party batteries is their affordability and lower price point. Unlike OEM batteries, which come at a premium where some models are nearly $200, like I mentioned earlier, Nikon's official EL18C, which is $179 MSRP. Third-party batteries undercut these prices by 60 to 75%, and instead most average around a third or a quarter of the price of their competition. This is a massive win for photographers because it saves us money and offers more value. Interestingly enough though, the higher price point of OEM batteries doesn't necessarily mean these products are indeed better. Instead, photographers are really paying for the extra peace of mind. Unfortunately, that peace of mind comes with a ridiculous margin, given that these batteries are essential to our workflow and camera manufacturers use that to their advantage and they really leverage that. And the mere fact that many third-party options undercut the OEM batteries by their margins makes them a go-to for those wanting extra batteries without forking out a ransom in the process. And this is a key reason why these products exist in the first place. That said, while third-party batteries offer lower prices and better overall value, they're not perfect. Far from it. And they have several disadvantages, so let's cover them right now. First and foremost is their quality. There's no debating that OEM batteries have better standards and offer better performance. The manufacturers of these products have tight standards for capacity, discharging, and lifespan to ensure they match the advertised performance benchmarks. And that reliability is a must to deliver a product that works for professional photographers that are running businesses and doing this full time. Unfortunately, the third-party market doesn't have such standards and the quality control varies wildly. Expect some batteries to have compatibility issues. One issue could be that the camera doesn't recognize it altogether, or they could just not recharge using the OEM battery charger that's supplied with your camera, or you can experience problems recharging them via USB, and together many professionals end up feeling that they're somewhat unreliable. Next is reduced power and longevity. While a third-party battery is likely compatible with your camera, it may have a different design specification, and the biggest difference would be its milliamp hour rating or capacity. All things being equal, even a difference of 200 milliamp hours from the OEM battery could reduce how long you can operate the camera and even its maximum frame rate. While in other cases, the difference in design could mean third-party batteries don't last as long as their name brand counterparts. That could result in one of two things. They deplete faster during use, so you take fewer photos overall, or more likely, their rapid discharging over time results in a shorter lifespan, and the long-term battery life deteriorates quicker than usual. Some third-party manufacturers expect this, and they will notify you in their product listings online accordingly, but generally it's wise to accept that aftermarket batteries don't offer the same capacity and lifespan, so plan accordingly by getting a spare, or at least at a minimum keep this in mind when you're buying so you expect this beforehand. Lastly, they have added risk. With a name brand battery, you always have a clear idea of the quality you're getting, but that's not the case with the third-party market. You can easily find third-party batteries from random resellers online costing as little as $10. But even with a steep price undercut, how can they offer matching abilities and capacities as the OEM battery costing $80? Well, these resellers cut costs by using poor manufacturing standards, cheap materials, half-hearted testing, and compromising the overall design. Together, they greatly reduce the overall quality of the final product, and in the best case, you get a battery that discharges faster than usual, or doesn't hold as much charge, or feels a bit plasticky, but at least it works properly even though it's not perfect. However, it's also possible to end up with a battery that's rejected by your camera altogether, rendering it useless, or if it works, it doesn't communicate properly with the camera and shows a full charge when it's indeed close to dying, possibly resulting in catastrophic data loss or corrupting your memory card. The battery can also swell during sustained use in high temperatures, damaging the battery compartment or becoming stuck. With that said, always vet resellers or skip them all together and consider sticking with only trusted long-time manufacturers. Speaking of trusted manufacturers, on screen is a list of some of the most reputable third-party battery companies that we trust. I doubt any of these companies would risk destroying their reputation on one of these products, and all of them have been producing photographic equipment for a number of years on end. On that front too, I would also like to offer a few helpful tips on where you can find third-party batteries if you choose to go this route. Always buy from trusted retailers like B&H, KEH, Adorama, or similar. Here you'll have confidence knowing they won't sell replicas or defective equipment. Next, buy from your local camera shop if you have one in your town or city. They too will also sell authentic equipment. And lastly, if you opt for a third-party manufacturer, make sure you research the company beforehand, look into when they were found, check their website, and review their listings. Many resellers don't have a web presence, and many of them are simply selling rebranded items. But to conclude this video, what all photographers ultimately want is a quality battery that delivers the performance they need. For some photographers, that means sticking with OEM batteries to have true peace of mind, while for others that means opting for a third-party battery to save the extra cash. Still, third-party batteries do require some research beforehand, and they do bring added risk to the table. But considering you can save well over 50% and have close enough performance by going with a trusted brand, it would be the right decision for many photographers. For us personally, we've used third-party batteries for years among many cameras, and to date we've never had an issue with a battery swelling or becoming damaged, so we'd say the risk is justified and makes sense. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found the content of it valuable, insightful, and you learned something meaningful here. If you're new to our channel, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. If you have any comments, questions, or feel like I've overlooked something in the course of the video, please let me know down below. I've been your host, Devaun Lennox, Photography P. .com.